mean... Oh no, he's buggered it. Oh, he's ruined it. Welcome to Seen Through Glass and welcome to day 2 of Vlogari, but in my mind the true start of Vlogari. My stress levels yesterday with the late delivery of this car went through the roof. Essential coffee and snacks. I saw James had another one of these the other day. I had one for the first time back in April on the Euro tour, and they, that is going to save me today. Now, a lot of you may have noticed I've got the automatic 124 Spider, and that is because a lot of this trip is going to be long miles. I'm moving all over Italy. Like today, I'm doing about 650 kilometers, something like that. And whilst the manual might have been more engaging and a bit more fun on the tight and twisties, as I say, the majority of the time I'm going to be driving to and from things, and I wanted to be able to cruise, which this car is actually pretty good at, especially with all this roof and air, and I need sun cream. I need sun cream. So as mentioned, today I'm driving around 650 kilometers south, actually down to the Amalfi Coast. But as I was driving, I suddenly saw a sign for Pompeii. And as Vlogari is not only a way for me to indulge in my Ferrari and car obsession, but also a way for me to indulge in my new travel vlogging obsession, I thought, Pompeii? I bloody have to visit there. Well, I have to say, that was freaking awesome, apart from the 39-degree heat, which nearly wiped me out. I've obviously seen pictures of Pompeii and probably seen a few documentaries in my time. I kind of want to watch more now. But seeing it in real life, I couldn't get over the scale. It is, I mean, it's a city, but it's massive. I can't believe how much has remained all of these years. And you kind of get a little bit transported back into what it must have been like in Romano times. Anyway, back in the 124, and I can continue my journey further south down to the beautiful and stunning Amalfi Coast, which feels like it will be the perfect place to talk a little bit more about why I've ended up in this 124 Spider for Vlogari. After 2 days of motorway driving, there is something so good about being on a tight and twisty mountain/cliff top road. Oh, I have heard so much about the Amalfi Coast, but I have never been here. And whilst I don't have a lot of sort of car stuff to do down where I'm staying tonight, I just thought I couldn't do like a 3-week or 3.5-week tour of Italy and not come to this area. And on this little road, the merits of the 124 Spider are just getting even bigger and even more. Oh. So to give you a bit of a backstory, about 3 or 4 months or so ago, when I was kind of right in the middle of planning a Vlogari, I reached out to Abarth because I have a very good relationship with them in the UK and in Italy. And I said, look, have you got anything going on during those dates or any cars lurking around? I'd love to drive a Series 4 500 or 595 Competizione Journey to be official. And they came back and said, oh, I'd love to help you, Sam. Would you like to have a 124 Spider for the whole month, for the whole trip? I was like, I mean, that sounds pretty good. But the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I realised that the 124 could be like a perfect car, because I realise it's not the most obvious car for me to have chosen. Maybe you were all expecting me to be doing this trip in a Ferrari, but if you've never been to Italy before, let me just paint a little bit of a picture. The roads here aren't the most fantastic quality. They are bumpy at best. But on top of that, all the sort of towns and cities and mountain roads out here, oh, there's a little crack and a bang, are also sort of, you know, very narrow, very small, as you may have seen when, oh, this road is incredible, by the way. When we were leaving Florence this morning, you're on these really narrow little zones. And so I was nervous that in something as exotic or as sort of supercar-y as a Ferrari or even like a 4C, it would just be a headache. I was like, what if I get stuck somewhere? What if I... And I've got so much going on during this trip that I sort of don't know what's coming around the corner. And so I thought, hey, a little 124, and it is just that, very little, could be perfect. And then on top of that, it is September. Well, it's not actually, it's August, isn't it? What's wrong with me? I've lost the plot. It's gonna be September. But the weather is still incredible in Italy. As I mentioned earlier, it was about 30 degrees when we were walking around Pompeii. Right now, it's 31 degrees and it's 5:15 in the evening. So being in a Spider was hugely an appealing idea, and it has turned out to be amazing. Something's rustling around by my feet. It's another GoPro. So that was just another plus point. And the fact that you can pop this roof up and down, I'm actually going to try and do it now. This could be slightly interesting. You literally pop that, there's the roof. I'm doing it whilst driving. How insane, I mean, oh no, he's buggered it, oh, he's ruined it. Wait. Up. But let's face it, we're on the Amalfi Coast. Down! How cool is that? I love how easy that mechanism is. I just did that whilst driving on an oh my God, these views. Oh my God. I'd only driven a 124 Spider very briefly, the Fiat and the Abarth version, back during the launch. Was that earlier this year? Maybe it was last year. God, I've really totally lost my mind. I think the sun has frazzled me a bit today. But it was a brief experience, especially with the Abarth version. And I've been wanting to get my hands back on it because it's so much fun. And I know you're all going to be shouting and screaming that it's an MX-5. We all know, under the skin, this is essentially a Mazda MX-5, just with a few tweak bits and I think some much prettier bodywork. But I don't really care. That's like when people say to me, oh, an Abarth is just a Fiat 500. Essentially, yes it is, but it's also very different. And one thing I've been amazed by, but very pleased by, is how much attention this little car has been getting. When I saw Alejandro Salamondrin out in LA, we were talking about like car cultures, where people are into cars the most, and he was really arguing that the UK had the biggest sort of car culture, where people are most passionate about cars in every circle. But Italy is just another level. I mean, fuel stations, the middle of cities, anywhere you will go, people are taking pictures of this little car. They're taking pictures, they're laughing, they're smiling. Well, they're not laughing, that sounds a bit harsh, but they're smiling, they're enjoying seeing it. And that's because the Abarth brand holds some weight here. People appreciate it as much as I do. And that's the final real piece of the jigsaw. Is not only, of course, is it 3 miles, thanks Abarth, but at one point I was seriously considering bringing my 695 Piposto down on this trip, but the thought of no air conditioning during 30 degrees heat in Italy was quite unbearable. But I still get to have the Abarth badge and all the fun and the characteristics, and it's been a totally chilled cruiser so far the last 2 days. I mean, the fuel tank is tiny, so you have to pull up every now and again. But out here, even though we're stuck behind a lot of traffic, because this is one of the most popular roads in Italy, the noise, the feeling, the sensation, it's just all there, and I cannot wait for the next 3.5 weeks to really exploit this car. Of course, I will try and do a proper review of it at some point, but for now, I'm just enjoying all the little quirks of it. Well, this is a pretty incredible place to round up today's video, and another way to summarise why this car is great. I could not have got many cars down that driveway. This is where I'm staying tonight, Casa Angelina. It looks incredible. 124 parked up. I'm gonna go lie down. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and make sure to subscribe for all the Vlogari adventures ahead.